given the time constraint, I'll just very briefly introduce our Imam, Shaykh Mokhtar Maghraoui, who I think most of you are familiar with, but for those of you who are not, who have not had the pleasure of meeting him and listening to him speak, I'll just say very briefly that he is one of the most well-renowned Muslim scholars and speakers in North America and internationally, I would say as well. I know that he has a PhD in electrical engineering and that he serves as the Imam in Troy, New York. And he has the unique distinguishing feature of being able to speak articulately on topics of Islamic spirituality and also on Islamic law. And in my own experience, I found that there are very few people who can really have a grasp of both of these topics, and we really look forward to his insight and his observations in bringing us closer to Allah and ultimately in sustaining our souls and our own spirituality. And so I'd like you all to please welcome Imam Shaykh Mokhtar Maghraoui.
Assalamu alaikum. How are you? وأصبح الملك لله الحمد لله لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له له الملك وله الحمد وهو على كل شيء قدير رب أسألك خير ما في هذا النهار وخير ما بعده أعوذ بك من شر ما في هذا النهار ومن شر ما بعده رب أعوذ بك من الكسل وسوء الكبر رب أعوذ بك من عذاب في النار ومن عذاب في القبر. First, I do apologize for this unusual delay. It was beyond my control, something absolutely unforeseen happened by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As far as I know, I am sure there is a lesson for it, about it for me to learn. But something that I had to do and resolve before I could leave. I was ready to leave by 9:30 a.m. but that was kept on delaying until just 15 minutes ago. Please do forgive me. Bismillah, alladhi la ilaha siwah, الواحد الأحد الفرد الصمد الذي لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد والحمد لله حمدا كثيرا طيبا مباركا فيه أبدا سرمدا حمدا يليق بجلال وجهه وعظيم سلطانه وجزيل والصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد الصادق الأمين الرسول المبين المبعوث رحمة للعالمين وعلى آله الطاهرين الطيبين وأصحابه الغر الميامين والتابعين لهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين اللهم اجعلنا منهم آمين. Inshallah ta'ala, let us have the intent in the next few hours to remind ourselves, myself first and then you, about an essential element of our faith as Muslims, an essential element in our relationship with the Creator as human beings, an essential element as Muslims and human beings in our pursuit of happiness and freedom, namely our qulub, our hearts, our souls, our spirits, and thus the very spirit and soul and heart of Islam. And to talk about that in some aspects also, what helps us promote that and preserve that and sustain that as well, inshallah. Let me first, as an introduction, remind you and myself of our essential nature and what that essential nature is and how, since it is essential, must be the part that we should care for essentially. We do know, and if we don't know, we must remind ourselves that God, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as He tells us in the Quran, in the story of the early genesis of the human being, when He subhanahu wa ta'ala, after He created Adam, our progenitor, our father, alayhi salam, when He created him, subhanahu wa ta'ala, He addressed the child of Adam, He addressed, Adam, and therefore addressing us in that way as well. Inni khaliqul bashara. He spoke to the angels, subhanahu wa ta'ala, and told them, Inni khaliqun basharan min salsalin min hama'in masnoon. I am verily going to create a bashar, a human being, min salsalin min hama'in masnoon. Salsal is a dried type of clay that makes a sound when you strike at it. And hama' masnoon is a swampy nature. I'm going to create a human being from a salsal, the origin of which is a swampy nature. Hama'un masnoon. That's the zahir of it. That's the external composition and the origin of the human being. But He says, Azza wa Jal, فَإِذَا سَوَّيْتُهُ وَنَفَخْتُ فِيهِ مِنْ رُوحِي فَقَعُوا لَهُ سَاجِدِينَ. Then, when I fashion him, and I breathe into him of my soul, of my spirit, then lay yourselves prostrate to him. What does this teach me and you? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala orders His most elect creatures, the angels, to lay themselves prostrate, not after He first fashions the human being as an external nature, salsal min hama' masnoon. No, not then. Only when the ruh from Allah Azza wa Jal is breathed into the human being, then the human being, in a sense, becomes worthy of having the malaika, the angels, lay themselves prostrate to Him. That means what to you and to me? What makes me special as a human being, very special as a human being, is not my external composition, is not my complexion, is not my physical appearance, no matter how much we human beings who are so externally focused and so shallowly oriented, we so often emphasize the external reality and we work our lives to enhance in that. That is not what makes me a special human being. What makes me a special human being is the ruh inside of me, al-batin, the internal reality of the human being. And that internal reality of the human being is his and her ruh. His or her, therefore, qalb, the heart. Again, not the physical reality of the heart, but the underlying spiritual dimension of the qalb. That's what makes me that special human being worthy of the malaika, alayhim salam, themselves, to show reverence and respect to the human being and to lay themselves prostrate, subhanallah, to the human being indeed. So, the value of the human being is on account of what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has endowed the human being internally of internal characteristics. Of internal characteristics. the external characteristics. Your internal characteristic, your internal image, not your external image. We are, as human beings, made of khalq and khuluq. In the Arabic language, this special language has very special origins to the meanings of words. Khalq, and they rhyme, isn't it? Khalq, khuluq. All same letters, kha, lam, qaf, for both external image and internal image. The difference between them are vowels. My khalq is my external image. My khuluq is my internal image. What makes me special is not my khalq, but my khuluq. My khalq, as far as external reality is concerned, as we know scientifically, is made of molecules, and molecules are made of atoms, and atoms are made of protons and neutrons and electrons. And those protons and neutrons and electrons, for a pig and for the human being, are the same. Keep that in mind. Same electrons and protons and electrons that make a pig, make a human being. I use the word pig because how we feel about it. Right? We say tiger, lion, giraffe, snake, monkeys, but also leaves, trees, trunks, the same rocks, minerals, the same atoms that make the khalq of the human being, make the khalq of all those other creatures of Allah Azza wa Jal. So the human being is not again special on account of that reality, but on account of the khuluq, the internal character of the human being, my dear sisters and brothers. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will that He creates us from dust, from clay, from swampy substance, externally, so that I will always remember to be what? Humble. To be humble. Even, the balance is here, even if and when I, at the level of khuluq, excel, because some of us might be led to arrogance and delusion in a scholarly, spiritual way if we become scholarly, intellectually, or spiritually, emotionally special. So the balance is that we are physically swampy. So we will always remember that, and that helps keep us what? Humble. And also to be swampy and clay-like versus to be one endowed with ruh, with a qalb, the beautiful khuluq, keeps the other balance. We will not feel low always, we will feel special. But that specialness, lest it would lead some of us to be deluded and arrogant, we're reminded of that nature.